Narcissistic abuse and tough love. Let's get into it, shall we? This is a comment from a survivor. Here we go. Thank you for this video. I'm deep in the thick of this right now. Someone else commented that narcs love to use the tough love thing. It's very overwhelming to think tough love was a cover for their hate of a child, their own child. I'm contemplating a conversation with the golden child, and I know this is how it would go. Oh, but she loves you. Please. Okay, so first of all, I don't believe that the words tough and love belong in the same sentence. And I do believe that there are a lot of parents, and look at those residential schools, by the way, that use the words tough love as a way to mask abuse. 100,000%. Consequences shouldn't feel like tough love. And I think that my mother would have used those words, but she had something else that she liked to do instead. She liked to say, I wouldn't do this if I didn't love you. To me, that's the same thing as tough love. That's kind of the definition of it. And one of her go-tos would be to put me in a scalding hot bath. I wouldn't do this if I didn't love you. Whew. Really why I wanted to address your comment, though, aside from the tough love, is about your mother's son. That's what I call my sibling. I call him my mother's son because the golden children are not our siblings. They're not our brothers. They're not our sisters. They are our parents' child. And I want you to recognize that your parent has groomed your sibling to be their child, not your sibling. And manage your expectations, if you have any, around a conversation with your brother. And you did allude to the fact that you know how it'll go. There are a lot of sibs out there who think they'll understand. I was one of them. Back when I looked at my mother's son as my brother, I thought for sure when I went no contact with her that he would stand with me. I thought, he's my big brother. He loves me. I always looked at him as my protector. I adored him. He hung the moon, along with my other abuser grandmother. My brother wasn't my abuser, just to be clear. My brother is a victim of my mother. At some point, though, you do become an adult. And he's well aware of my mother's criminal behavior that still goes on as recent as 2014. Including an arrest and a whole thing. But he still stands with her. At some point, they become an adult, but they don't, because they've been attached to the abuser for so long that they become just like them. When I approached my brother to have a conversation, it wasn't actually about my mother. It was about, and here's a trigger warning, the fact that when I was 12 years old, I lost my virginity to a sexual assault. My brother called me a liar over and over and over in this phone conversation. That's when I realized that he was indoctrinated into the entire system. I didn't think of it that way, but I recognized it that way. That he drank the Kool-Aid that was put in his pitcher, in his glass, right? Marnie is a liar. He's never, not once in all of these years, and he's had the opportunity to do so, he has never come back to me and apologized for that. Not once. He could have written me an email. We used to email, like, not a lot, like here and there. He could have reached out to me on Facebook. He's done it before in defense of my mother. He did admit that he's not saying that she was a great mother. That was his biggest admission ever. For the longest time, I could not reconcile how we grew up in the same household together, how he couldn't see it, how he stands with her. I get it now. One, as I said earlier, he's my mother's son. He was groomed to think of me in a particular way. He was groomed not to have empathy for me. He was groomed to be angry at me for what I did to the family when I ran away from home. That was how everybody spoke about me. When I came back, it was about what I did to everybody. How could you do this to us? I was 17 years old. I cannot tell you how traumatized I was. I lived on the streets and I had all of these family members, relatives, how could you do that to us? You know what you put us through. My brother is a part of that system. He did not have the same relational experience with our mother that I did, which is why they cannot see it the way that we do. They were given blinders and taught not to. And that is a conditioning that without therapy runs so deep that it will never change. And it's also a way of growing up a child to ensure that they become just like the main abuser. Do I think my brother has NPD the way that I know my mother does, or that he's a sociopath? No, I don't think so. Do I think that he is a toxic individual to me? 100,000%. And after trying to have those conversations and being really hurt through them, and I was so happy to be in therapy at the time when I attempted that again, I came to know that he was never my brother, and that he's always, 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 and forever going to be the victim of my mother and my mother's son. So before you have that conversation, and this is not an encouragement in any direction or discouragement, I want you to be aware that it could cause some pain for you. You're strong enough to handle it, and just don't be tied to the outcome unless that outcome is you just needing to say what you need to say to keep moving forward. I wish you healing and love and light and a day as amazing as you are. Thank you for the comment, and I'll see you soon.